I'm live right now. So all people in this live now jump onto this next live. Come debate, you must be born again. I'm gonna put the StreamYard link into the chat. Um and yeah, you're allowed to come up. I know Brenda wanted to come up, so you're welcome to come up. StreamYard link is directly there. I'm also gonna go into the Redeem Remnants YouTube so I can pin it. Yes, and anybody and everybody can come up. I'm not gonna discriminate. But yeah, if you're gonna come up, don't be cussing, don't be rude, be respectful, all that stuff. Uh, so yeah, I'll send you over to the other live right now because there's two lives going on right now. Let's see the hello. Yeah, this live has no views right now, so let's get this view up. Let's promote that. Okay, what am I doing? I want to pin this. I want to pin. Oh, I'm not even on my flipping. I'm on my wife's account. Let me get off of that. Yeah. Okay, now I'm on my account. I can pin it. So the StreamYard link is there. You're welcome to come up. I'm going to log off of this now. Jump over to the next live. God bless. Okay, so now I'm on this live. I've literally highlighted the StreamYard link. You are welcome to come up and have a conversation on any topic, of course. It has to be, of course, related to Christianity. I'm a Christian. I'm a born again Christian. I believe the Bible is true and everything in it. I believe that Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, and other false religions are false. They do not glorify God. Um, there was a Hindu who wanted to come up, so you're welcome to come up if you want to have a conversation about samsara. But if we don't get enough, a lot of people coming in, what I'll do is I'll jump off because I know there's a lot of stuff I want to do today anyway. Yeah. By the way, this is the stills from the conversation with Soros. I don't know whether you can see that properly because of the mic. Yeah, this mic is trash. Yeah, you can see it there. You know what I mean? I like that. I don't really like this photo, man. You know what I mean? I don't really like because I'm looking a bit, I don't know, drowsy. But I mean, I like this photo, man. Man. That day was awesome, man. This dude's 25, by the way. He was telling me about, he was basically just telling me about, his thoughts on the discussion that he liked how I was speaking, stuff like that. Great guy, that guy, great guy. So really great to talk to these guys. And yeah, it should be going live tonight, by the grace of God. So you'll be able to see it. Um, but yeah, I definitely need to get a new phone. This one is trash, man. Yeah. How you doing? So no matter Peter, how you doing? Blessings, bro. I'm gonna actually also just have this here because for some reason, I kid you not, I can't actually see the comments. All I can see is one comment, and that's the one I made. I don't know why. It's not refreshing, but this is the problem I'm having with StreamYard. So yeah, click on the StreamYard link if you would like to come up and debate the topic. You must be born again. This is for Brenda. This is for others as well. Because I know Brenda, you couldn't jump onto the old TikTok stuff that I'm doing there. So yeah. But meanwhile, while you're doing that, I'm just gonna have a quick reading of the Bible as we do. You're welcome to jump up. Every person, come up. Let's debate. The StreamYard link is in the chat. I don't know why, for the life of me, you can't click on it though. I mean, I don't know why it's not hyperlinking it. That's a bit annoying. Is there a settings in which I have to? I don't know whether there's a setting in the YouTube Studio in which I have to make it available to hyperlink. Let me look in my own studio because I don't know why, but on my phone I can't hyperlink. I can't even flipping copy it, so I don't know what's going on there. So let me look. Let me look. 1 minute. Community. But yeah, for them Catholics, yeah. Let me just remove this so I can see the actual comments here. I'm not crazy. That was the most craziest comment I've ever heard in my life. You probably are crazy. Anyway, I said I chose non-interested. Like I give a crap what you think, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Get lost, brethren. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I can't see anything in my settings. Community comments. Yeah, I can't see anything to change. I could try and look in his settings. Maybe that will. Permissions, community moderation, basic moderation. By the way, I'm gonna basically. Yeah, I've blocked a ton of words. By the way, the reason why I blocked a ton of words is because like I don't need to be hearing you cussing and just saying N words and stuff like that. I'm just not gonna allow that. How you doing, Mr. White's Blaze? God bless you. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll give it about what's the time now? It's 1:58. I'll give it about 5 minutes just because I was live before. If nobody wants to come up, then I'll just close it off for today because honestly, I'm not going to be doing a long sesh if nobody's going to be up here. Come on, it says general. Let me close that. Let me go to customization. Okay. Okay, Siddharth, do you want to come up? The StreamYard link is in the chat. I'm trying to set the hyperlink, but if you want to come up, what you can do is copy the hyperlink and just place it into your web page, and it will send you directly to the StreamYard. And by the way, you can come up on StreamYard. You don't have to have an account. You just need to have a Google account. That's it. So if you've got a basic Gmail, which you should have if you've got a YouTube channel, then you can come up. I'm really annoyed by this because now I can't even see how to deal with the comments here. Really annoying. Permissions, uploads, community moderation, user management. Yeah. So yeah, hidden users. I'm gonna unblock all the hidden users. So there's no more hidden users on this channel. All channels can redirect to my content. Okay. Nope, can't do anything about it. So I can't really stop there from being URL links or change that. I can't really, yeah, hold comments with hashtags and URLs. Okay, let me remove the hold comments and URLs for review. Let me try putting it then in again. Okay, Siddharth, I'm inviting you up. I want you to come up. I'm going to put a link in again to allow people to come up so we can have a conversation on your understanding of the Dharma. Okay. Okay, let's go. So yeah, I'm going to just respond briefly to what Siddharth is saying. So he says, this is where the concept of souls comes from. The bodies are occupied by the souls in the form of insects, animals, humans. It's only seen as temporary, not permanent. Furthermore, each soul belongs to the cosmic consciousness and starts the cycle of birth and rebirth, which continue gaining awareness to the point where the soul realizes the illusory nature of the world and merges within. Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. It's nothing to do with what I said. If samsara is true, then essentially you have souls being recycled for the purposes of essentially going nowhere, because if the soul itself is the pramada or whatever you would call it, then yeah, essentially, Peanut Froggy, I don't know why you're telling me you're sorry. I don't know who you are. But yeah, I accept your apology. Just don't know who you are, mate. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, thanks for your apology, I suppose. You know what I mean? Man said I'm in the Illuminati. No, I'm not in the Illuminati. Caleb says good live stream content. God bless you, Caleb. Anyway, I think nobody's coming up, so I think I'm gonna call it a day, simply because it's been like an hour or something like that. Maybe later I'll be jumping on again. But what I will do is I'll invite everybody watching this. If you are not a born again Christian, you are welcome to come up when I do these live streams using the link. Can you disable camera requirement? Yes, I can disable the camera requirement. You can literally do that through StreamYard. Okay, so I'll just send you a link in there. Yeah, you don't have to turn on your camera. You don't have to do that. So what you can do is just turn it on briefly and close it again. That's what you can do. For example, I can close off my camera right now. It's not hard. It's easy. Bonnie Blue would actually get this place a lot of views. And if she decided to come on my live, I would teach her the gospel. Okay, so we have Sadaf Bao who has joined. Okay. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, all good, all good. What about you?
Oh, glory to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the true God, who is and was to come. I'm great, man. So yeah, we were speaking about samsara, the concept of recycling human beings for no reason, and I was basically saying that in Hinduism there is this concept, of reincarnation, which really doesn't deal with justice. For example, you can have Hitler coming back as a rat, right? And not really experience life as a rat because he doesn't know he's a rat. He's just a rat. That's a rat doing stuff. Now, if Hitler then dies as a rat, that's not Hitler anymore because Hitler doesn't exist. And so Hitler hasn't suffered the punishment for any of his sins. Whereas in Christianity, human beings do suffer eternally.
Yep. So coming to this particular point, give me a second. So pretty much the way it works out is a huge reason of why this may not make a lot of sense is because you're still seeing physical beings as physical beings. So the bottom line is the experience. So Hinduism, as in its core, focuses on the experiences of the soul rather than the being itself. Because the being, like for example, you and myself are considered illusory or physical and not permanent and not even real in certain beliefs or certain schools of thought. What is considered real is the experiences of the soul. So the real question to ask is not if Hitler as an entity, as an impermanent entity, experiences karma or justice. The real question to ask is what is the soul experiencing through all of the lifetimes that the soul experiences.
Sorry. So you're basically making one assumption, and that's that the soul is not a being and it's not operating on the level of a being. So being is going to be a state of existence, according to the research literature at least. So state of existence is just going to be a state of existence. If we're gonna state that state of existence is no longer a state of existence, but something else entirely, we need a lot of evidence for that. And I don't think your worldview accounts for that. Whereas my worldview can. I could say that this can I'm holding right now is truly a can I'm holding. If you're going to say being doesn't have being anymore, then this can doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, then me drinking it is an illusion. But if life is illusory, then so is karma. And then karma doesn't really matter. So then ultimately your God created the world for no reason, just to basically watch people suffer.
So the thing is, it again boils down to the experience of the soul. So what I'm trying to indicate is one thing that you mentioned like just right now is that there's no evidence of the things that I'm saying. And that is something I absolutely agree with. Hinduism in its core, like a huge belief of Hinduism, is that this entire concept of justice, karma, I mean, all the meaning that we place in the world exists because of a very, very extremely cosmic illusion. So justice exists, karma exists. It definitely exists. The soul will go undergo vast amounts of suffering if the soul has done, extreme amount, have,
Right,
caused.
but if karma exists, is my issue. If karma exists and I accrue dark karmic debt, let's say I've raped, let's say I've gone as far as to rape a child or something like, the worst kind of example, no, to imagine. I'm using a hypothetical here. Let's say I did that. I go and rape somebody or rape a child, whatever, right? And then I die. If I come back as somebody who is great, right? Is the person who raped me worthy of a karmic debt punishment?
I don't really understand your question. Can you repeat that, please?
But I mean, I'm using the worst example here because I'm trying to make you see how bad this concept of samsara is. So, let's say I am a person who rapes another woman, right? I rape and murder a woman, right? I go ahead and do that, right? Let's say, I pass away, I get murdered, whatever, right? I come back in the next life as a woman that's being raped. Is my rapist going to suffer karmic debt?
The thing is, it's again, there's no such thing as a rapist. There's a thing as a soul occupying the form of a rapist. The soul, if the soul has done a very very bad thing, which is
Wait,
again
did you just say
rape
that
or
there's such
particular
thing
thing.
as a rapist?
No, what I'm saying is in the physical form, there's a rapist. There is a rapist. I'm not saying there isn't. What I'm saying is the soul is going to undergo vast amounts of suffering. That can include suffering in the same lifetime and suffering in different lifetimes that the rapist, like the soul occupying the body of a rapist would undertake eventually.
Right, but the soul. So let's make it very clear here, right? The soul that's undertaking the body of a person who was raped, right? Then they come back in the next life, and they rape somebody else. The soul of that body, is it the same person?
No, the person is different. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so if the person is different, but you believe the soul is the same, then the experience is different. So it's not the same it's not the same soul. The
But that's the
experience of the
thing,
body.
right? But that's what I'm saying. It's experience of the soul, not the physical form. That's what I'm saying. Because the core belief in Hinduism, like literally, I mean, I'm not sure. Do you know what the Gitas are? Because we Hindus believe in the Gitas.
Right, but no, but you're not following. So if the experience of the soul is not the same, then ultimately that's not the same person. If Hitler dies after gassing a million Jews, and then he comes back to life as some cat that gets murdered, the cat is not him. So truly, Hitler's not suffering any punishment at all because Hitler doesn't exist. Hitler fades into nothingness. He isn't a concept anymore. All there is a soul, but that soul doesn't know what it's done in the past life, nor is it aware of anything. It's just an innocent cat that's dying.
Yep. But the thing is, the experiences of the soul that the soul carries with itself is going to remain. That's what the entire point is. For example, we in our current form exist as human beings, right? Now, for example, if let's say we do, the entire point of Hinduism is to gain awareness to the point where you realize, the core cosmic consciousness which
Right, but
exists.
how are you gaining awareness of anything? Bearing in mind, you don't know in your next life what you've done in your previous one. You don't know who you
But the
are
soul knows.
other
That's
than
what the
that you
entire
know.
point is. The
But
soul knows. That's what the entire
well,
point is.
first of all, there's a big assumption that the soul knows. If the soul is aware of this stuff and knows that it is carrying karmic debt and knows all this stuff, then surely the person who's the identity of this soul should know as well. If Hitler dies and reincarnates, he should be reincarnated knowing he's Hitler, knowing what he's done. Otherwise, the punishment doesn't work. You're punishing somebody else for something that they haven't done. And not only that, are you punishing them? They are not aware of who they are, what they've done in the past life. They just did it. That's not fair and that's not justice.
I mean, see, this, again, really just boils down to the worldview because, we can again just sort of keep on having this argument about you saying that, the physical form doesn't experience that, so it's not fair. But what my response to that is again going to be is that the soul knows. That's literally what, the differences in religion comes in,
But
right?
you
That's
can't
literally
prove
what
that with any
differentiates.
sort of physicality. I would argue, as Athanasius does on the incarnation of the word, Athanasius was a Christian writing around the 4th century, that the soul is a rational soul. It has
Okay,
rationality.
so
And so if you
help
say
me
that the
understand
soul has no
something.
rationality now and it's just a object experiencing stuff but not taking stuff in, that's not a soul. But then again, there's no consequence either. The soul doesn't learn anything. Why? Because
Yeah,
although it may
so help me
remember
understand
instances,
something.
it's
So
not learning that.
one thing I would
Oh, my friend,
encourage
I'm
you
going
to.
to finish. I'm going to finish.
Yep,
It is
yep.
not learning that these things are consequential because it is not Hitler. That soul is not Hitler. It is just a person.
Yep. So, okay. So first things first, I think, instead of attacking each other's religions, we should sort of defend our own religions. The number one thing I want to ask you is, so, for example, in Christianity, you argue about, let's say, for example, of Hitler. Hitler would, experience karma or experience justice. Now, in that case, well, are you willing to argue that Hitler, in this particular case, did experience anything to begin with? Was there any concept of justice or karma
Well,
involved in
yeah,
his
I mean, so
Hitler's
yeah,
life?
Hitler was burning in hell. So I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah,
surely.
but exactly. That's what my point is. Who knows that Hitler was in fact burning in hell?
I know Jesus does because he rose again, but we
Yeah,
have
I mean,
evidence
see,
of that.
that's exactly what my point is, right?
But it isn't the
Similar to
same
you guys,
thing because
Hindus
hold on,
believe
it
that
isn't the
souls are going
same.
to experience.
I'm going to finish. It isn't the same thing. It really
It
isn't the
is.
same
It
thing.
literally
It
is.
really isn't because
It
we're
literally
dealing
is.
with God who is judging all sins, God who knows everything, God who transcends all things, judging those who are evidently in body and mind still the same people to hell. This isn't a conscious experience in reality. This is Hitler dies, Hitler's still alive, he's in hell. That's the same Hitler. But you're saying that
Yep.
when a soul
See,
dies, hold on,
I
my friend,
just
I'm going to
yep.
finish. You're saying that when a soul dies, it transmutates into another life in which it doesn't understand what it's done and it's being punished even though it knows nothing about what it's done in the past. That's not punishment then. Hitler should suffer for what Hitler did, not what the reincarnated donkey he turns into has done.
Yep. Okay, so 2 points that I like to make. The number one point, again, I'm just going to keep on reiterating the same thing because again, it boils down to difference of beliefs. The number one thing, it's the soul that's going to go through the experience. The number two thing, you talk a lot about, Hitler burning in hell, God knowing, Jesus knowing, but what's the proof of those things? That's the point, right? That's literally the entire point.
There's a lot more
So,
proof than Sanatan Dharma, man. Like, no
yeah, but
offense,
what's the
but
proof? That's what
you're
I'm
listening
asking.
come from
You
an
said there's too much
amalgamation of
proof.
weirdos in the Indus River Valley people who are taking other people's gods. We have Christ saying he will die and rise again. He does that, showing he's God, and he also is the king of the universe, which you don't have.
Yep, exactly. So I understand all of these things. I understand what you're trying to make. But the entire point, again, the argument that I'm trying to make is what's the proof of the things that you say happen actually happening?
So I mean, like, look, your argument is not founded. The reason why is because
I mean, I
being
can
is
say
going
the
to be
same for you as well, right?
rationality. I'm going to finish, but I mean, being is going to be rationality. There has to be some form of rationality in order to have being in the first
I
place.
mean, again, I
But
can
you're
literally
telling me
make the
that
same argument for
you're
you
telling
as
me
well.
that souls are not beings, and that souls do not have states of existences. Well, I mean, you would say they have states of existences, but ultimately they have no reason to exist. Whereas God has created us in His image, your God has basically just experience and nothing else. And what would be the
Yep.
point of trying to reach nirvana? What are you trying to learn? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep, exactly. So again, so the answer to this particular question about souls existing without any reason, the core this entire question of what the reason is flawed to begin with. It literally only exists according to Hinduism. It literally only exists because of the illusion, the vast illusion that we live in. If the illusion goes away, these questions go away. That's literally the entire point. Now, again, coming
No, it
back to
doesn't go
my,
away just because the
I mean,
illusion goes away.
let me finish first,
No,
and
the assumption is
then you
that
can
we are
talk.
all God and we are
Now,
all one and united with some sort
the
of
second thing, let me
consciousness.
finish and then you
That's
can
the
talk.
assumption. No, I'm sorry, dude. That's the assumption being
I
made,
mean, you keep on
and you're
interrupting me,
not
and that's what the
grounding
issue
anything
is, right? You don't
logically.
even let me finish, is what the issue is.
No, but you're just not grounding what you're saying
I
in
mean, even
logic.
you're not
We
even
have
grounded. You
Jesus
literally
Christ
talk
of
about
Nazareth.
Jesus, you talk about God,
Yeah,
you
we
talk
have
about.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth dying and rising again. You have a religion which was created by a bunch of pagans in the Indus River Valley that has nothing to do with
You
reality.
talk about
The only
God,
answer
you
you give
talk
me
about
about
Jesus,
rationality is
you
just
can't even
an
provide any
opinion of
evidence
facts.
of the things that you claim. And at
What
the
evidence
same
of the
time, you're the
resurrection?
ones,
What are you talking
at the
about?
same time, you're the one who's asking me to provide evidence.
Yeah, because you have a lot of more burdens of evidence than I do. You're claiming that the being itself does not have an existence.
I never said that. The being literally exists. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're saying that ultimately it doesn't have any rationale And so it's not a
When did
rational
I say
soul.
that? When did I
And
say
and
that the
Hitler,
being
Hitler
doesn't have
ultimately
stuff?
Hitler ultimately isn't being judged for any sins he did. So your worldview is corrupt.
I mean, I can literally say the same thing about you. That's what
No,
the
you
entire
can't.
thing is.
You can't
I
say the
can.
same thing about me.
Okay,
You
so
can't.
see, the first thing that you mentioned. Okay, so see, I believe the entire argument that we're having boils down to, um, how a person experiences justice or karma. My belief to that is it's not the person but the soul which should experience these things. And your worldview
You
is
can't
that the
punish.
person
You can't
experiences
punish
these
the
things,
soul. Sorry,
but
like
then you
you can't
cannot.
punish the soul for something that it doesn't. It's not aware of. Also, when you say the soul
Okay,
is
but
suffering
the bottom
punishment,
line is,
you
how
believe
do
we
you
came
know
from
that a
amoeba.
guy like Hitler
I'm
was?
gonna finish, bro, because this is ridiculous. You believe we came from
I mean,
amoeba.
just
You
because you
believe that we
cannot
used to be
argue.
prior to that. I just don't want to hear this Hinduism. Shut up, bro. Like, you believe we came from a literal vatum pond of amoeba and were recycled over generations, and some of us became Hitler because of your divine mind, God. So ultimately, you have to believe that Hitler himself isn't a product of his own actions, but in fact, he's a product of essentially the cosmic mind. You know, it's ridiculous. It's not an argument against what I've said. No, you don't have any logic, bro. You've just told me that, there's no rationale in the soul. That's ridiculous. Well, then, if Hitler comes back as a little girl named Sally, and Sally is great, that's not Hitler suffering anything. That's Sally. Okay, so what insane nonsense is that? You're a fish, bro. You're a fish, bro, jellyfish.
You drop him.
Yeah, I dropped him, man. He was speaking some random Hinduisms. He was like, I was like, listen, calm yourself down. First of all, you're telling me that my worldview is like yours. No, it isn't. Because the starting presupposition of Christianity is going to be that Jesus Christ is Lord. He judges all men. That when Hitler dies, he doesn't just forget he's Hitler. He actually knows he's Hitler. You know. And so Hitler is not burning hell. You know what I mean? But in your worldview, he can't be burning hell. In fact, in your worldview, although he may suffer for a few lifetimes, he's eventually going to achieve an enlightenment. You know. No, you need to calm yourself down, believing in some stupid random blue gods from Satan. I mean, what is that, bro? No, it does. It proves I'm definitely right. Your whole argument was that the soul doesn't have existence, bro. Get baked, dude, man. Honestly. Get chopped, bro. Get baked. Anyway, you know what I mean? There's certain, sometimes I just have to bloody. Somebody said this dude needs a priest. Well, sometimes you have to get exorcism in, man. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you have to get exorcism in. Well, I don't know. Insane work still. Um. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Jellyfish said this that rule. I know Arrow would bloody sound the same, and it would still be he was just chanting Hinduisms at me. I'm trying to get him to engage with the topic, and he's like, "Well, yeah, the soul dies." You know what I mean? And not proving any of his garbage. But when I talk about the resurrection of our Lord, he doesn't have an argument against it. Insane work. You see, it all goes down to resurrection, right? Who's gonna know life more? The random Indus River Valley tribe people who think that elephants are God, or God Himself who became a man and rose again and died. Sorry, died and rose again. You know what I mean? Exactly. Greek transcripts. We have the testimonies of 500 people saw him rose. We have the Roman Empire saying nothing about him dying. We have testimony of people outside of him. Phaelus mentions that the sky went dark for at least 3 days. He mentions that in his work, that's what happens when Christ is on the cross, when he dies for 3 days. You've got, Tertullian, sorry, not Tertullian. You've got Tacitus mentioning the persecution of the Christians during that time who believed Jesus Christ was God. You've got Lucian, you've got names forget me. You've got a ton of people outside of Jesus Christ who recognize that he truly existed. James, the brother of Jesus, is mentioned by Josephus, for example. That's more testimony than anything that we're hearing from these Indus River Valley tribe people. I'm sorry. It's just a cult. That's what Hinduism is. And it's also cope. When people want to be spiritual but they hate Christ, what do? They go to these stupid New Age nonsense. Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, what can you do? What can you do? Anyway, you're welcome to come up if you want to. Anybody else wants to come up, you're welcome to come up. I'll give it 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna drop. Just simply because I'm not in the mood to talk anymore. So yeah, Brenda wanted to come up. She's not here. For some reason, when I scroll, I'm seeing some random chick, some random pirate dude named Cetra. Yeah. So yeah, we got random pirate dudes. We got random women. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways. Wage gift, how are you? God bless you. May the risen Lord help you to understand his truth if you don't know it already. Man said 0 grapish, yeah. Like literally. But anyway, yeah, nobody's coming up, so I think I'll give it a day anyway. Or I'll call it a day. Anyway, God bless.